Hello out there, families. Welcome to another week of what's going on in the art room, room 301. So with advanced art, we just finished up our still lifes of our day, and students were turning those in. There's a few students that still need to hot glue their projects together, but they're turning out really great, and I will include some photos of finished work at the end. And so we started talking about our next project, which is moving into our painting unit. So we just finished drawing, and now we're going to be doing 6 weeks of painting. So this one's called Beyond the Border, and we are doing watercolor. And so it's this idea of looking at the law of thirds. So we started studying about the law of thirds, and why that is useful in art, but also useful in film and in photography as well, and graphic design. We looked at law of thirds and explained what that meant. And then we also were starting to talk about color theory. So we made these little itty bitty color theory books, and we went through all the different color theories. And we're going to be focusing on analogous colors for our project. And so those are 3 colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. And so what they're going to be doing is getting a piece of watercolor paper and creating a picture that breaks out of this border. So it's going beyond the border that we can find here. The center is going to be watercolor, with one section being our focal point. So this is my law of thirds, where my focal point is located. The inside is all watercolor, and then the outside we're going to be using India ink so that we get this nice contrast going on between the two. So we haven't started watercoloring yet. We just have been getting the idea and concepts of law of thirds and color theory. By next class, students will be getting their watercolor paper and should be kind of lightly sketching their designs, and then probably starting to move on to the watercolor portion. In 3D art, we just finished up our tic-tac-toe. Let me grab those boards, and they went into the kiln. So this is a super cute one. I don't want to tip it too much. That they did Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse. So this will be really fun to glaze. So the boards and the pieces went in the kiln, and students will be glazing this week. And then in the meantime, while we're kind of working on glazing, we started a new project, which is sgraffito, which means to scratch. We have sgraffito tools that we're going to be using. They're going to be creating a slab vessel, and with that slab vessel, they need to select a cultural theme. So they could either look at Japanese, Greek, or Roman, Native American, Mexican, and African pottery. So they were looking at the pottery from those 5 cultures, selecting 1 or 2, and then designing what their vessel is going to look like, doing a sketch of their vessel. They then started constructing with slab construction the vessel, and then we're going to paint it with black underglaze, and then use the sgraffito tools to go ahead and carve in our designs. So they're really excited about that. They're going to be making some really crazy, amazing designs that they've already showed me from their sketches today, which I'm really excited to see how they end up turning out. In Art 6, they just finished up their self-portraits, so a lot of them are just doing the chalk pastels. They're turning out so good. This one's amazing, and they need to make sure they turn in their project planner with it, and then their grade slip that they're filling out. And then we have started talking about the clay projects, so they will be doing clay next week. For their clay project, it's going to be a mythical creature. They learned last Friday about all the different clay vocabulary, and then today and yesterday we started talking about mythical creatures. We read an article about what is mythology. We looked at various mythical creatures in groups. They worked together to create a mythical creature and how to describe its name and where it lived and why it could possibly be created and what it does, just to get their brains in that way of thinking about mythical creatures. Next class, I'm going to do a clay demonstration, which I will attach to the website as a video, and they will then be able to see how to make their clay creature, and they'll start the planning process. What animals do they want to incorporate together, and what will that look like, what body parts? And then next week they'll be making them. Last week and this week, Exploratory Art has been diving into their pop art clay food projects. They haven't glazed them yet, so I just have examples of previous ones, but they're either making a cake or a pie. So this is a cake example. This is a finished one, but not a a student one currently, because theirs are in the back of the room right now under plastic. But they will have a lid that will come off, and it will be a container. So this is the bottom of a cake, and then this is the top portion that comes off that looks like this. Or they could select, the other option was either a hamburger or a sandwich. And so we have a cheeseburger here, and it's also a clay container, so the lid comes off, and we have the inside of the burger here scooped out. So they learned about slab construction, they learned about scoring and slipping, and getting these concepts of real textures. And then next week, after they've been fired, they'll be selecting glaze colors that will look very realistic. So I'll try and get some snapshots of the student work for exploratory art once I unveil the plastic here in just a minute before the students arrive. So you can see those, and I'll get some pictures also of the still life projects, so you can see those as well, because those are pretty awesome. Oh, and also the display case is now set up for the sweet treats from 3D Art, so I'll take some photos of those. So stay tuned for those pictures. Thanks for watching, and have a lovely week. It's just been a lot of clay and a lot of clay dust, and it's going to be even more next week, but it's sure a lot of fun. All right, thanks. Bye.